Okay, what we have here is a Dixie Challenger. This is a Hot Wheels. These were made in 1981, 82, and 83. And I believe this one is from, it's either an 82 or 83 because they changed the decal a little bit in those years. So it needs a restoration. It's got some serious front end damage. I have no idea what would have caused that. But something ate away that pretty bad and into the casting. It's very pitted. It's going to take a lot of work to get that looking nice. Thankfully, we can prime this, so that'll help us a lot. So we're going to restore this up. I've got some replacement decals. I don't have the same as this for the roof. I've got the Confederate battle flag for the roof because that's the only one I could find. I couldn't find one like this. So we're going to get this guy all looking pretty. So let's get them separated first, and we'll see what the inside looks like. Okay, the inside is equally crusty. Let's see, this glass is not cracked. A little crack right there, but it's not all the way through. But it's in decent shape. That'll shine up just fine. Interior is interior. Nothing special, nothing wrong. It's going to be fine. And the base, actually some of the body stuck to the plastic base. Look at that. These wheels, I'm going to pop out and try to clean up. You know, black wall wheels are really hard to find replacements for. I can't find any reproductions. If anybody knows any way to get reproduction black walls, let me know, because I have a lot of black walls I want to restore, and I'm having trouble finding the wheels. I might have to end up fabricating them myself. If that's the case, that's okay. I would prefer to buy them, though. And the base, we don't have to worry much about the base because it's a plastic base. In that respect, plastic bases are nice. I just have to clean it. But they are a lot more fragile. I prefer to work with metal bases. So, first thing we got to do is get this guy stripped off. So we're going to dip him in the stripper tank. Now all of these parts are just going to go in the ultrasonic cleaner. And I can guarantee you they're going to need more than this. But this will give us a good baseline and it'll get them degreased. We'll turn this up. We'll run this for like 10 minutes. So the paint's been stripped off, or at least most of it. We're going to get it all eventually. Really, the serious part is right up here. There was a ton of corrosion, and you can see where I took with the wire brush. I got a lot of the corrosion off. But underneath that, there's a lot of uneven metal. It's not smooth at all. In the back here, got an issue I didn't realize. It's got a big pit, and then it's actually missing part of the casting there. But anyway, we're going to sand this, and that's going to let me know how much pitting there is. I'll probably have to use a little bit of putty, although I'm not feeling a ton of pits. A lot of this is still corrosion. So I'm going to sand this hood. It should be pretty easy sanding. There's not a lot of contours or anything. And once I get this sanded, then we'll be able to see exactly how much work this is going to require. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that the pitting was not as bad as I feared. The bad news is that it's still pretty bad. It's going to need some putty. Those right up in there and in there. They're shallow enough that they feasibly could be sanded down, but then I would lose some of the shape of the hood here. Also, bad thing I realized is this rear end. See how rough that is? It's from play. It's been rear-ended. So I'm going to need to file that a little bit more straight. I doubt I'll be able to ever get it perfect, but it's going to look nice enough. Well, that is about as filed and sanded as we're going to get for now. So I'm going to use this Tamiya, or Tamiya, however you say it. Everybody seems to say it a little bit different. Putty to fill in some of these pits, and then we'll sand that again. And it will probably take a couple times to get it looking perfect. That's okay. Well, I'm going to do this pretty much over the entire body to get, any little pits that I might forget. Then we'll sand it with a fine sandpaper and move on from there. I doubt that this will get all of it, but this will get us really, really close. Now, I know it's hard to tell because of the glare, but all those white specks that you see, there you can see it pretty good there. Those are all pits that have been filled in, and it's kind of all over. You can see them. I need to clean up around the door handles a little bit there. Still, that doesn't need to be filled in. And around there's some spots I need to clean up still, but this is about ready for priming. So the next step after I get this one final bit of cleaning up, which will only take less than 5 minutes, is to hit it with a coat of primer, and that will show us all of the little imperfections. Primer is great at showing you where you've messed up. And once I see the primer, I can sand it down again if I need to, or if this is good enough, then it'll show me that too. So when you see this next, it's going to have the first coat of primer on it, and then we'll look and see how it's looking. Now I know on camera this looks pretty perfect, but that's because I'm having trouble getting the settings. Let me see if I can make it so you can see a little bit. There actually are, I can't pick it up. You can kind of see down in there, we got a couple little pits right in there that's showing through, and there's a little bit more on this side, and like one right up in there. So it's not perfect. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand off this primer, and that'll leave the primer inside the low areas. This white just blows out the image, but I think that we are ready to paint it. You can tell where I've sanded it off and put another coat of primer on because it's not quite as white. But that should be just fine. So I'm going to put a few coats of my final paint on it, and if it doesn't look good, then I'll stop and start over, but I think this is going to be fine. Here it is all painted. I didn't video the painting because I started having problems almost immediately, and it's really hard to video when you're having problems. You're juggling too many things. It's lighter on the camera than it is in real life. Let me see if I can adjust it a little bit. There we go. That's more realistic to what it actually looks like. Had some problems with some dust, and mostly I had problems because of the paint. I use the Redline Shop. If we can. I use the Redline Shop Competition Orange Enamel. It's a urethane paint. I've used this before on another project, and I mentioned that time that it was very transparent, and it was the same case here. And you have to get your body so impeccably perfect for this to give a good paint job. I ended up having to put a lot of coats to get the color that I wanted and get the rich color that it is. Even if I had primed it perfectly and it was white, it would have taken a lot of coats. So it's a lot thicker paint than I would have preferred for this car. Now, since I can't find replacements for these black walls, which again, if you know where I can find replacements, I'd love to get them, I'm going to have to repair them or just spruce them up. So I'm going to use this chrome pin to carefully re-chrome them. I'm going to do this mostly off camera because I need to be really careful. Get a lot of questions about this pen. It is a Malto liquid chrome pen. You can get these at Hobby Lobby or Amazon. They are kind of expensive. They're about $10 to $12. But this one's lasted me probably, 20 restorations so far, although I think it's starting to run out. But anyway, great pen. Forgotten about this. There's some crud on the windshield, and it's like concreted on there. It's like super tough to get off. So I'm going to have to sand it off, figure out a way to get this off. Ugh. Nothing's ever easy. Okay, now it's time to put on the decals. Just gonna go like that. These should be really easy to put on. This is my only set, so if I mess it up, we are in trouble. Doing this from behind a camera is particularly tricky. The rumor is they had to change the Dixie Challenger from having this on the roof because they did not own the copyrights to the Dukes of Hazzard. Again, that's just a rumor. I couldn't get that confirmed, but I have heard that in several different places. So they changed it to the stripes that this originally had. That makes sense. Well, I am extremely pleased with how this turned out. Had you told me that this was the same car, if I hadn't seen it done, I wouldn't believe you. It looks so good. I can't find any idea where there's pits. The only place I couldn't repair was that little chip back there, but that's hardly even noticeable. It just looks great. Look at that clear coat. It is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Well, if you remember, this is the before. And now we have the after. And I hope you enjoyed this restoration. I really enjoyed it. It had its ups and its downs, but man, the final result was just incredible. I love it. Well, I enjoyed having you watch my whole video, and I hope that I'll see you in my next one. Until then, goodbye.